Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm Jeannie Maudlin, and I'm the president of the Friends of the Working Men's Institute, and welcome to our final lecture in our 2025 lecture series. It's nice to see so many people here this evening. We have a wee bit of housekeeping that we need to attend to before we introduce our speakers. So our bylaws require that we have an annual meeting to present our slate of officers for 2026. So, as president, I'm going to call that annual meeting to order, and I'm going to ask Director Ryan Mokicki if he would please come forward and present the slate of officers for the Friends of the Working Men's Institute 2026.
Before we get to that minor order of business, I do want to extend a great amount of thanks to the Friends of the Working Men's Institute. They've had a great lecture series this year. Started off with Kelly Morgan from the State Museum and Historic Sites. We've had Dr. Matt Rebeck talking about astronomy in our own backyards, and a wonderful 4th of July program with Andrew Wilson and Karen Moser, and tonight's last program that we're going to get to in just momentarily. But let's give a round of applause to the Friends of the Working Men's Institute, all they do here
You're all
for
back
us.
there at the table.
If you like these programs, thank the Friends. If you like our ebooks on Libby, thank the Friends. They do so much for us. Proud to announce the slate of officers for 2026. For President, Jeannie Maudlin. Vice President, Ann Garrett. Secretary, Christine Cruz, and Treasurer, Shelley Batt. That is the slate as presented. Are there any nominations from the floor? No nominations. We will have a vote to approve the slate of officers for 2026. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations. And I will turn it back over to the reminted president of the Friends of the Working Men's Institute, Jeannie Maudlin.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. We appreciate your confidence, and you can rest assured that we will work tirelessly to uphold the same fine traditions that this organization has. So at any rate, and by the way, the board's sitting back there. So they're all those ladies are back there. At any rate, we're so excited to have you here. Like I said, we're excited about this program tonight. And at this time, I'm going to introduce the president of the board of directors of the Charles Ford Memorial Home so that he might make the introductions. Nathan Maudlin.
Hi, everybody. It's good to see everyone here tonight. I'm going to introduce our executive director for the Charles Ford Home, and she will introduce the other members of the staff that are here to give the presentation. But let me give a few words about Amy Koch first. Amy joined the Ford Home in 2000. At that time, the Ford Home was an institution that provided assisted living care for females from Posey County over the age of 55. And that is how the Ford Home was started, with the bequest of Charles Ford. And I was one of the trustees that was appointed by the town board to serve on the board of trustees back at that time. Amy has overseen many changes at the Ford Home. The first major change was when we switched from the institution for 55-year-old women and over to what is now a private organization. We have a board of directors now instead of trustees that are appointed by our town. We now allow men to be in the Ford Home. We now allow couples in the Ford Home. Amy oversaw remodeling of all the rooms at the Ford Home, and they're very nice, and people are waiting for them to open up. And more recently, we have Amy has overseen the institution of our Hospice in Harmony program. And that's who you're going to hear from tonight. Hospice treatment is important, and I'm looking forward to hearing all about it tonight. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce Amy. Amy Koch.
Thank you for that introduction. We've had a lot of years together, and we've seen a lot of changes together, and we've grown a lot together. And the thing that we want to share with you this evening is this remarkable team of hospice folks that we've put together to continue our Charles Ford mission to take care of our little corner of the world. So we started maybe 20 years ago partnering with some hospice companies, and that started to occur in people's homes in the Ford home. And then, I don't know, 5 years ago or so, we really had seen a lot of changes in hospice as we knew it. And so we saw an opportunity, we thought, to kind of further our mission or expand in our mission field and help care for the folks in our tiny little corner. And so we embarked on this program, and it's been some years of developing and credentialing and building a program that is just a little hard for me to even put words to. So I'd like to introduce the hospice team, please. So if those of you who are going to, Stacy, why don't you come up and introduce yourself first, and then I'll let our myth debunkers introduce themselves as they take a seat. What our goal is tonight is to debunk some of the popular myths that surround hospice. Hospice is a frightening thing to talk about. We don't find it frightening. We talk about hospice, and we're talking and thinking, we're talking about living. And we mean that from the very bottom of our heart. So we're here tonight to debunk some popular myths with some fabulous expertise and some personal testimony. So we hired Stacy. How many years ago was that now? To help us on this journey. Our board of directors did. And so she's served in our consultant and in any other nursing capacity or any other administrative or market, every capacity of this whole process. And so I wanted you to introduce yourself, but I couldn't stop talking.
We're accustomed to that.
I want a strict time limit. I got 3 hours. Okay, I love to talk.
But that's what we do. We all wear whatever hat we need to wear. And it really is, I couldn't be doing this 28 years later if it wasn't about living. Because you couldn't do it every day if you weren't focusing on the life that you're seeing every day helping do this. So, and the beautiful team that the Ford Home Board has allowed us to put together, and Amy's oversight. So I'm Stacy, and thank you all for having us.
Okay, let's see. Team, come on up. 5 of you come on up. Remain standing until you've introduced yourselves. They volunteered for this. They were not voluntold.
They really did. They really did.
They volunteered for this. So just stay standing for a second. All right, you two beautiful ladies in the back, do not get out of this. So would you please introduce yourselves so that the folks know who you are and what you do for us?
I'm Haley. I'm one of the registered nurses that works for the Charles Ford Hospice in Harmony, and I get the pleasure of taking care of Miss Laura patients.
And I'm Natasha. I am the on-call nurse. I take the overnight and weekend hours when the office is closed.
I'm just grateful for.
And she lets the rest of us get some sleep. That's the truth. Is for the past several years we've been doing all of it, and having her on board broadens us and has given us a lot of depth. So we love you both so very much. Now there is a microphone, and we can pass it around if we need to. So I'm going to let you guys tell us if we need that or not, please. So would you please introduce yourselves, and then you can sit once.
All right, I'll go first. My name is Alicia Ewell. I'm the clinical director. I'm a registered nurse. I have been with Charles Ford Hospice in Harmony since June, I think, if that's right. Just stepped into this clinical director role, and I'm so thankful and happy to be here. Ms. Marjorie?
I am Marsha Hobson, and I am the Community Relations
Relations Specialist. I am honored to be able to represent the Charles Ford Hospice in Harmony. I myself have had to use hospice. My husband didn't wait long enough to be able to use the Charles Ford Hospice, but we did have a very wonderful experience. It really got me to understand and broaden my heart as to what hospice actually is all about. And it's not a bad thing. It's really a blessing. We just have to open our mind and our heart in order to be able to feel it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Allen. I am a CNA hospice aide. I kind of go in and do all the little things, big things to keep their daily lives going. I joined hospice here in April. I did have to use our hospice team for my mother, and I was grateful and blessed. Sorry, not very loud.
It's hard to hear.
Very blessed to have this team. They have taught me not only is this about the process with the person, but the family entirety, and making sure everyone all the way around them is taken care of.
Hi, I'm Clint Thompson. I've been with, about a week?
Green behind the ears.
Yeah. But I've been with hospice for about 3.5 years. Prior to that, I've done nursing home work as a social worker for 10 plus. And honestly, within the week that I've been with Charles Ford, these two over here have taught me that it's more about the person. It's not about the number. And that's why I left my previous company to be with these guys. So thanks for having me.
Hi, I'm Tara Powell. I'm the chaplain and bereavement coordinator, and I've been with Charles Ford for 2 years in January. And along that lines, I've been a chaplain for about 15 years. And the reason why I do what I do is because I believe that people should have dignity and respect and be able to spend their last chapter the way that they choose. Should we pass on to Glen?
That's not really fair to put them on the spot quite yet, but
Our treasured and honored guest of honor is Glen Parker, who is with the Ford home in every way that in our retirement community and our hospice program, and his amazing kiddos. And you're going to hear from them in just a little bit as well. So we're here tonight to talk about myths and debunk them. All right, I see how good I am at this, yes. So we're going to give you 5. When we started this process, we can go anywhere from a list of 5 or 10 to 30. So we chose the top 5 hospice myths or misconceptions that we encounter the most in our line of work. So I'm going to read that to you and then ask the different panelists to kind of help debunk that from their experience. So one of the things we hear the most often is that hospice care is only for people who have a few days or weeks to live. I'm sorry, microphone.
I have found that a lot of people think we're going to wait, we only need a few more days, it's not till the very end. Well, the truth is it needs to start as soon as you meet that criteria, because not only does it help you process, help you go through the process easier, work other people through it, but it also allows the family to stay in that family role and let us do the caregiving for them. And then for me, it really makes it just not a death, but a journey to go home.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Jeff. The next thing that we deal with frequently is that hospice care must be terribly and horribly expensive, and only for folks that have unlimited resources. Clint?
Yeah.
So being a social worker, you're kind of the resource guy. And basically what I can tell you is Medicare pays for hospice 100%. Any Medicare replacement program, whether it be Blue Cross or Humana, it pays for it 100%. Okay. Is it me? Am I the problem?
You're right in front of the speaker getting feedback.
Okay, well, here you go.
Talk loud. No.
Yeah, take it. So basically, the one experience that I had was when I worked in the nursing home. We had quite a few VA residents, and they would be scared to death on jumping on board with hospice because they were afraid that their VA benefits would be taken away or the VA benefits wouldn't pay for the hospice care. Okay, that's 100% untrue. VA pays for it 100% because VA copies the Medicare program. Okay, and it doesn't matter what percentile that your VA is. You can be 10% or you can be that standard 70% or above. As long as you're on hospice, it'll pay for it 100%.
Only patients with cancer can benefit from hospice care. Alicia?
That is mine. So it may be surprising, some of you may know, but only about 30% of all hospice patients actually have a primary diagnosis of cancer. Last year, the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization had cancer, I believe it was lung cancer, was listed at number 9 in the top diagnoses. A lot of times we get a lot of cardiac or heart issues, kidney issues, COPD, a lot of times a combination of all of them. But as long as your physician feels like you have a life expectancy of 6 months or less on paper, it doesn't have to be a cancer diagnosis.
Alicia, or maybe Stacy, can you expand on that? That's a question that we get a lot, the 6-month thing. It scares people and they don't quite understand it. Nobody wants to decide 6 months from today I'm not going to be here. So can you expand on that just a little bit?
Absolutely. Medicare is not unlimited, so they had to put some kind of parameter around it. We all have a limited life expectancy. Let's be honest, that's how we're all going to go out the same way. So they had to have some kind of parameter that if the trajectory of things continued the way that they had been for the previous 6 months or a year, then the likelihood was there was that limited expectancy. However, the benefit is not limited. You are certified for a 90-day benefit period and then a second 90-day benefit period, and that's your 6 months. And in order to keep integrity in the process, there is a rule that after that you have unlimited 60-day benefit periods. And in those 60-day benefit periods, either the hospice medical director or a hospice nurse practitioner trained in the criteria that we're looking for will make a visit to the home to ensure that you are continuing to qualify for that benefit. I can speak from that personally. My grandfather was on hospice with end-stage heart disease for almost 2 years. He made a decision that his goals of care were that he wasn't going to the hospital anymore. He was being managed at home, and with a nurse coming at least once a week, sometimes as much as daily if that's what we needed, we were able to monitor fluid overload and shortness of breath and symptoms and ward off things so that we never got to a place where we even needed to think about going to the hospital.
Sometimes patients even improve once hospice is coming in because we're treating the symptoms of the disease so they feel better and they're able to do more and enjoy their time to the fullest.
Yes. We're offering the support with the hospice aides and the bathing and the personal care and quality of life, a nurse helping manage medications. Absolutely.
So that leads me to another question that we get asked every once in a while. Once I go on hospice, what if it's not for me? Can I change my mind?
Yeah, we don't take prisoners.
Yep.
You have the right to revoke your hospice benefit at any moment. You make a phone call. Medicare says hospice becomes the professional manager of your care. That just means that Medicare is going to pay us a certain dollar amount daily, and out of that we provide all of your nursing services, aid services, all the beautiful people on this panel coming to your home to help support you. We pay for all of the medications, all of the equipment that you may need, supplies, wound care, any of your supplies, all of that we help manage and maintain for you. So we ask you, we're your first call. Don't call 911 first, call us first and give us the opportunity to help you work through that. But if you're dead set on going to the hospital, we'll meet you in the emergency room and a piece of paper is signed and you revert back to your traditional Medicare Part A and that hospital stay will be covered. And we'll even have conversation with you after that hospital stay about coming back on hospice services because of however that trajectory goes for you.
Yeah. And it doesn't count against someone if they elect to sign off of hospice care. If they need to come back later, they're not looking and saying, oh,
You got strike one.
yeah,
No,
strike one. It doesn't work like that.
No, it does not. You do forfeit the days of that benefit period, so you come back on in your next benefit period, but that will be the only qualifier there.
One of the things that we would be delighted to do is be interactive and answer questions as we go through these. So please feel free, if you've got a question or something doesn't add up, or if what we're telling you is different than what you have experienced,
Yes.
that is not going to surprise us. We are telling you what we know in how many years?
28?
Yeah. And with the commitment of doing hospice the way that it was supposed to be done, not with trying to make the most money possible. Now, we need to be healthy financially, Nathan. I'm not shirking that responsibility. But our goal is not to make the most money possible for our company. Our goal is to take care of the folks in our area by doing hospice the way it was supposed to be done. And we frequently do have people say, hey, you know, it's very different than my last hospice experience. We're not surprised by that. So, any questions from you all about, you know, the diagnoses that are different than cancer?
I have a question.
Please.
It's not about a diagnosis.
That's all right.
But if you determine that you cannot be managed in the home any longer, it's the hospice team that makes the decision that a placement in assisted living or some type of extended care is needed. Does hospice make that arrangement? Do we have a choice of what facility we would go to? Or is there like a lot of limited facilities that you have?
Beautiful question. Thank you. And so let me be sure that I'm hearing you correctly. I think you're describing a scenario where you're already in hospice care, okay? But things have gotten too hard at home.
Right.
Now what? What are my options? So, would you like to feel that?
Hospice does not make that decision for you. Hospice is working with you. We have what we like to call family meetings or family conferences. It's time to get everybody together and have a chat because we're all coming back seeing similar things. And then discussing with you the options of if you have resources for private paying for someone to help in the home, or hospice will pay for up to 5 days in a nursing home on respite level of care, which is covered under the Medicare benefit. If a long-term placement is needed, then we would be working with you on, is Medicaid involved to help pay that room and board, because hospice does not pay room and board in a long-term care facility, or would that be private pay in a nursing home? And it would be a facility that hospice is contracted with. But just because we're not contracted immediately doesn't mean we can't get a contract. More and more these days, nursing homes prefer to do patient-specific contracts. So the minute the family is thinking that they may need a placement, they would identify maybe a couple of facilities that they would be interested in. Our fabulous social worker would be getting on the phone, calling those facilities, helping facilitate tours or whatever might be necessary, determining if they have a bed, all the things that have to go through their criteria to make that happen as well. But it's never hospice's decision, it's a team effort.
One of the first things that we identified when we embarked on this mission was explaining where it is that we do hospice. And we even developed a tagline that said, hospice services wherever you call home. We go where you go, okay? That might be in your private home. That might be in the assisted living community that you live in. It might be in a nursing facility that you live in. It can be a lot of different places. So people ask us if the Ford home became a hospice. No, okay? There are folks in the Ford home for the last 20 years that have been able to stay in their home with hospice services, so they can still do that. But the Ford home in and of itself has not become a hospice building or hospice facility. Does that help answer your question?
I have a question about the payment. If you were not on Medicaid and you exhausted your benefits, would it be wise to give up hospice and go back on Medicare so they would pick up the limited number of days that they cover for skilled level of care?
You are asking some really beautiful and really tough questions. We would encourage you, if you are in a place in your life, and feel free to chime in if I'm not getting it right, but if you or your loved one is in a place in their life where they are going to benefit from skilled care, be it therapies to help them improve their level of function, you always want to get back to your baseline. Maybe it's a skilled nursing service, maybe you're getting IV therapies. There are a lot of different reasons that Medicare will pay you to do a skilled nursing benefit. But best case scenario, in a perfect world, they're only going to get 100 days, and that's like a rare scenario that you would get all 100 days.
And that's not 100% paid for
Right.
those 100 days,
Right.
it's the first 20 days.
Right, and then your other insurance hopefully would kick in if you have it, and there's a whole lot of ifs and ands and buts and more. But our goal really isn't to step in while you're still trying to heal. Our goal is to step in when healing is not the natural progression for you. And for most of our folks, they're tired. They're tired of spending all of their energy running back and forth to appointment after appointment after, because pretty quickly all your energy is going there and you're asking yourself, is this really where I want to put my energy, or what is important to me at this point? And that's where we want to come in. What is important to you at this point? And that might be real different for you, Jeannie, than it might be for Nathan, even though you're a couple. So our job is to figure out what is important for you. And what do we do? What magic do we create in all of the talents that we bring to the table to walk this out with you, however long it's going to be, to live the life that you want to live right now? But if your goal and your hope is still to go into that facility and get physical therapy and be able to get back to higher functioning, we want you to do that. Now, there are people that get lost in between that kind of seesaw or balance. And so our hearts are with you in that. If we were on your team, we'd just be helping you walk that out and evaluate what you want and how to get it. Is that helpful?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any other questions? And please, we love to. I love to talk. We'll answer. Okay. Oh wait a minute, I'm going the wrong direction. Sorry about that. Oh, good. We talked a little bit more about hospice expenses. Okay. Okay. The next myth that people worry about a lot is that they have to be homebound or bedbound before hospice care will help. And Marcia, that was an area that you felt comfortable talking about.
My background has actually been home health
Marcia,
work.
it's going to be hard to hear your still voice. Do you want a microphone?
Were my cheerleaders not coming out?
Well, get out. Get out and cheer, girl. We'll try that.
My background has actually been home health for over 30 years. So I'm very familiar with homebound status. I've seen a lot of people decline services due to that because they said, I don't want to stay home. I want to be able to go here. I want to be able to go there. That is one of the wonderful benefits with hospice. You don't have to be homebound. We want you to live your life to the fullest. That's the reason that we're in there. So, if you're talking to someone and they start, well, you got to be homebound. That is so false with hospice. So, like I said, our staff will make it possible, for you to be able to come and go as much as what you need to. Maybe you've got a granddaughter's wedding you want to go to, and it's in Florida. We want to encourage you. We want to keep you and get you strong enough so you can actually make that journey. That's a chapter of your life that you don't want to miss. The same way with the honor flight. I spoke with a gentleman today that was able to go, and he was so excited. But it's like he said, had he been on home health at the time, he couldn't have went because of that homebound status. So once again, I'll just always remember with hospice, we want you to live a full life, and that includes going and doing as you want to follow through that journey of what you want to accomplish.
Any questions about homebound, bedbound, and hospice? We're kind of more bucket list people.
We like to say yes.
Yes, we do. You know, one of the things that you will read if you dig down into it enough, people fear hospice and kind of feel like if they don't choose it, it's not happening, or but the truth is that statistically speaking, people live better and live longer the earlier that they bring hospice services in. So it's different for everybody. It's personal to everybody, but people live longer and are healthier and happier in the process when they bring hospice on board earlier rather than later. So, and we're going to count on you folks to help us educate folks about that, because it is scary. The last myth, and the most important thing we could possibly ask you to take away this evening, is to help us debunk this myth. Hospice care is only for people who have given up on life. And Tara, you felt the most comfortable fielding this one. Tara is our chaplain. Do you need a microphone?
I don't know. Can you hear me? Okay, wonderful. What I have to say about this is that we really want to help people finish the race strong. Hospice does not indicate when you're going to die, because we know that that date is going to come, with or without hospice. But we want you to be able to look at your diagnosis, look at your limitations, and look at your goals and see what is best for you. Fighting something is not always what's going to bring you peace and what's going to be giving you the best days. So a lot of us are geared in our human nature to want to fight, right? And when we fight, we expel a lot of energy. So I find that sometimes when people can find out what's best for them and they're choosing the benefit over burden, and we can help people do that.
That's a beautiful way to put it, benefit over burden. Yeah, that's beautiful.
I'd say we can help define the fight too, because the fight doesn't necessarily mean taking that next chemo or that next radiation or trying the next medication that's available out there in the study. The fight can be totally different when you're given the options. That there's different ways to fight than just how the medical model says this is how we fight.
That's right. I mean, the reason why I came into hospice is because I'd had lots of family members who died in hospital settings. And, it was a completely different situation when I had a loved one that died on a hospice service. And what made me want to be a chaplain was the chaplain coming to visit my husband's grandmother and spending an hour with her and talking about what was important to her family, her farm, her life, not buzzing in and buzzing out and, leaving in a blur, and her having to be hooked up to things and poked and prodded and tested, and that would be the equivalent of those days. Instead, we really got to spend time with her and just be a family and love her for who she is, and it was beautiful, and it was a completely different approach.
We can talk forever about hospice. There are so many levels and so many things. What we'd like you to take from this evening is that it's more about living than dying. People want to discredit that when we say it, but we believe that with every ounce of our of our being and our experiences. What we would like to do now is shift gears just a little bit and turn the microphone over to one of our favorite fellows. All right, and he probably does not need an introduction in this room, but I will anyway. Mr. Glen Parker, he's at the Ford home with us. He has partnered with our hospice team, and he just got back from his honor flight, and we're going to let you tell you a little bit about that.
Okay, my name's Brandi Perry. Went to school here, just across the street from this library. First time I've been back here since 1958. Really changed a lot in here. Really nice. And everything these people have told you tonight is true. 100%. Take good care of you. I was diagnosed with cancer. Not to go and ask for it. He told me, I said I had 4 months to a year to live. I never do give up. Always keep going. So, never give up. I went on the honor flight here 1 month ago. Week ago. It was great. Had a good time. People volunteered for it. Took care of us. My son went with me. This is Brad Parker. This is Susan Seidel, my daughter. She's a nursing professor at USI. My son's over the high blood division at Country Mark, plus he farms there now too, to go farming operation. Doing a great job. But I want you to know for sure that these people here will take care of you. They do a great job. Anytime I need anything, I just holler at them. I don't have to holler very loud either. The honor flight, it was great. If you've never been to Washington, D.C., you need to go and look at it. I've never been there before. My son went last year and looked it over. That there was 1,200 acres total, 600 acres in the cemetery.
Yep. Arlington.
Arlington. Beautiful place. The rest of it is beautiful too. So, thank everybody for letting me go. I've turned it down 3 or 4 times, went to Vietnam Veterans School first because they had a rough time over there. I served in Korea on the tank division on the field, DMZ, for 13 months. Was wounded, fell off the tank backwards, hurt my back. Come home, applied for medical benefits from VA. All my records had burned at 72, so they didn't have anything on me. But VA still took care of me. They paid for all the meds. It was great. Anybody have any questions? I had 2 brothers served in Korea too, in the Korean War. I was in '63. You want to say something, son?
You're good.
Charlie Hook, his hair, he was a veteran too. Where did you serve, Charlie?
51.
Yeah, he was in the Korean War. Very good guy. Anybody, any veterans here? Other veterans? Yes, he says. Where'd you serve, sir?
I served from 65 to 68 years Navy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great.
Tell them what impressed you the most about your trip, your honor flight.
The volunteers. We had a bunch of them. All we had to do was say something, they got us for us. It was great. Took good care of us. Anybody wants to donate to them can. It's great, great operation. The other donations I want you to hear about is Tunnel to Tars, taking care of all the veterans. It's a great, great deal. And again, I want to impress you about all these people. They're so good. Do a great job. Anytime you say something to them, they are right there. You want to say something, baby? That's all I have to say. Thank you.
That concludes our presentation for this evening. We'll be glad to hang around and answer any questions that you might have about hospice or anything that we do at the Ford Home or Hospice Services. Again, sir, thank you for your service to this country. All of you residents, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for having us this evening.
So, I don't know. I'm never without words, and I kind of am. Oh my gosh! And well, I'm just surrounded by angels. Thank you. I just had no idea, and I live right around the corner. And I live with the president of the board of directors. I still just didn't know. Oh my gosh. We give an honorarium to our speakers. So here is a check for $75 to the Charles Ford Memorial Home. Please use it as you see fit. Thank you. Not just for being here tonight, but for what you do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks to all of you. And by the way, I forgot to close that meeting. So we've still all been in a friends meeting. I just so I'm going to close that meeting right now. At any rate, thank you for coming. Our board is going to get ready in the next couple of weeks. We're going to start putting together our 26th lecture series. We're excited about that. We appreciate your support. Director Rokicki, would you like to come back up? Thank you.
Great program tonight. Thank you. That was the final lecture of the Friends lecture series, but the programming at the WMI continues. Next Tuesday, Ben Angel will be here talking about Locable. That's the driving force behind our visitnewharmony.com. So if you're part of the business associates, have a business, want to get your events on the website, Ben Angel is going to train you how to do that. Also, next Wednesday, Mallory Rodenberg, she's an author. She is also the Robert Lee Blaffer Foundation Artist in Residence right now. She is going to have a presentation here Wednesday, November 12th, 6:30 p.m. And of course, mark your calendars now. Friday, December 5th, that's the annual WMI Christmas Open House. Everyone's invited. Thank you so much.
One question. Because these lectures are videotaped by Mr. Stephen Stump from the University of Southern Indiana, and anybody wants to see them, you can. Now, we do have DVD hard copies, but that you can check out. But also, you can view it
on YouTube. WMI has a YouTube channel.
Nice. Bravo. Thank you. And if you have any questions, the folks are here for you. Thank you so much.